Hey, it's Fredo Saga. Live your own truth to create your saga. So today we're simply gonna be talking about how people are having this big struggle of them changing their own realities, right? But at the end of the day, in order for you to achieve that, you need to be bigger than your own reality. Sometimes it takes those different actions. Sometimes it takes that different elevated perspective. It takes those different shift into your own beliefs in order for you to start servicing yourself, right? At the end of the day, sometimes we tend to get overwhelmed by a lot of stuff that happen on the 3D world, right? When I mean my 3D world is the physical world. It's the things that like physically we cannot control, the things that just happen to be around us, you know what I mean? And sometimes we dictate our lives within that, right? Because at the end of the day, most people dictate their lives from whatever they see, whatever happens, whatever they started visualizing on their own current situations, their struggles, their experiences, and they kind of just to select themselves away from their own mind, right? And when you simply do that, you're simply just ignoring the fact that you're not putting more attention into whatever you want to feel like. You're not putting more attention to however you want to think as. You're putting more attention to whatever life is giving you, and you're just kind of following that route, right? So instead of having no control within that, you feel like you're stuck in the same box. It is because exactly of that same example, and you simply cannot get out of it, right? You're trying your best to get out of it. You're trying your best to break the loop, to break the matrix, or whatever you want to call it, right? But it doesn't work. It's not servicing you at all. And that's why simply what I wanted to talk about, right? The whole goal for today is simply for us to start realizing how powerful this really is. Like our minds, not my face, I mean my mind, our brains, right? Our mind brains, because typically enough, that is the only thing that we own, and that is the only thing that we can consciously choose how we can feel, like what we want to talk about, however we want to shift into anything. You can do anything with your own mind. Like, it's crazy. You can start imagining things, and that can impulse your emotions. But we can get to that into another video. But simply enough, I wanted to touch on, like, start being ignorant about everything that life is trying to throw at you, right? If you have a desired reality, start focusing on that, and start less focusing into whatever life is bringing you at the current moment. Once you start being ignorant with whatever life is bringing into you, you're basically being more reassertive about what you want, right? It's kind of like, let me just give you like a dumbass example. It's kind of like if a friend was to tell you, hey bro, I believe that 2 plus 2 is 5. But at the end of the day, you're being ignorant within that, because you probably know that he's trolling, or he's not, he's not right at all. Logically, he's not right at all. So you already know the answer. We all know that 2 plus 2 is 4. So having that same reassurance, having that same confidence, put that same scenario into your own mind, right? Think of it as your life right now, the life that is making you struggle, the life is making you feel like shit, right? It's making you feel like, damn, like, what the fuck is going on? Start being ignorant by it, right? And start acting like it's false, like this is not real, like this is not me, this is not who I represent, this is not the life expression that I should be giving out. What I should be giving out is point, whatever you want to dictate in your own field, whatever you want to manifest, whatever you want to desire. Use that into your advantage and keep reminding yourself over and over. And the problem is that the reason why I say that stay ignorant from whatever life is trying to bring at you, it is because a lot of people tend to give answers right away to that, right? They tend to respond, they tend to react in this way where it's affecting you emotionally and mentally, right? So now, dwelling within those emotions, when it comes into you shifting and aligning yourself with your own desired reality, it tries to pull you back, because your emotions are not the best state of mind, right? You can't even be grateful of yourself. You can't even be acknowledging of yourself. You can't even feel successful, because at the end of the day, all the emotions are being contrary of the way that you see life right now, right? And that's why, when it comes into you, working on your desired reality, you feel like you're in the same box. You feel like nothing is changing because of that same example. Life will always try to bring you back. It will always try to bring you back into your lower perspectives. And that's exactly why you need to stay ignorant, right? And moving on with this concept, I want you to start realizing that the more you keep doing this, the more you're reminded you keep doing, the more reminded of yourself you keep fulfilling into whatever you want to feel as, right? And it's kind of just as having, quick reminders, such as, it's kind of like when you're coming at home and the house is all closed, lights, right? You don't even know what the lights is, but you're self-known, you're self-conscious, and you're knowledgeable enough that the lights is there, right? No matter what, the lights is there. You just, touching it just to see if you feel like it, and boom, you turn on the lights. It's kind of having those reminders. It's kind of having those self-realizations that your mind could provide for you and brought up on yourself, right? But a lot of people tend to say, okay, so even if I was to be ignorant, so is that supposed to mean that I'm supposed to ignore my problems? Am I supposed to ignore like my addictions or everything like that? No, simply enough, no. But don't make it seem as if you were to have anything like that, any disadvantage to yourself, make it more empowerment than whatever you can provide for yourself in your own life, right? If you believe that certain thing is a much more, it could be a disadvantage for you. If you believe that a certain perception can bring you down into desired reality, that is basically a belief. And if you hold truth within that, then that is basically something that you chose, right? At the end of the day, there could be like people in the position that you desire to be, and they probably have the same problems as yourself, but they probably don't even give a fuck. They probably don't even, provide any attention to it, right? And exactly right. And whatever you perceive as true, whatever you perceive as false, that is something that you consciously choose. So whatever you want to use that into your own field, make sure it's something